Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft and I am coming back at you guys with another Heart of the Swarm broadcast, and this is going to be another very high level Starcraft 2 matchup. It is actually going to be Jaedong, the red Zerg player, at the top left hand corner of the map, and I don't really need to say too much about Jaedong. As you guys all know, one of the world's most feared Zerg players, and he is going to be up against another of Korea's finest. It is going to be CM Storm Polt, the blue Terran in the bottom right hand corner. He's been around the StarCraft 2 scene for a little bit longer than Jaedong, a lot longer than Jaedong, and he's been more established in the StarCraft 2 professional scene, but can he deal with the up and rising star from the old school days of Brood War? That is, of course, E.G. Jaedong. And I think this is going to be a fine matchup. I just wanted to say I am back, guys, for casting StarCraft 2. I will be casting quite a few games over the next few days. At least I plan to. So hopefully you guys are tuned in for that. And to start things off, I wanted to go ahead and cast this entire set. I'm told it is a round of very good games, exchanges between Polt and Jaedong. And this is from the OSL/WCS tournament that went on last week. So this should be a very promising group of games. And of course, the players themselves are already, you know, stars in their own right. So Jaedong, having gone to DreamHack and finishing in second place consecutively multiple times in a row, has got to hurt a little bit. But at the same time, it also shows that, you know, a player of his caliber is just, you know, to be able to get second place multiple times in a row, it might not be as prestigious as, say, getting first place once, but he is, you know, a player that has consistency, and it shows that a player of his caliber can go, you know, he can go the distance. And he is one of, like I said before, one of the world's best Zerg players. So this, I think, is going to be a great StarCraft 2 matchup, and very excited to see how this is going to turn out here between Polt and Jaedong. Obviously, a couple of new things on the horizon. I've been watching, you know, some TV a lot as well, and I noticed Diablo 3 out on console now. So if you guys wanted to go ahead and check out some D3 action, you can go and buy the console version. I'm told also that Diablo 3 on the console version has improved loot and other stuff like that. I haven't actually played Diablo 3 in some time. Kind of just gave up after my hardcore character died, unfortunately. Very sad. But anyways, in other news, we'll see what happens here between these two players. Let's just get right into the casting of this game, as Polt does bring a Reaper into Jaedong's main base, and is going to start to do the little, you know, pot shots with the double pistols there. But really, the Reaper here is just mainly, like I said before, used for scouting. You want to bring it into the main base and, you know, find out what's going on with the Zerg, see if he's got gas, and in this case, Jaedong does have some gas going, so it's usually a good idea when a Terran player sniffs that out to just throw up a bunker, you know, play it safe. And we can see here he's actually just going to go for the command center on the low ground, and I would imagine he's going to build something over here to help narrow down this this kind of walkway, making it a little bit more difficult for Zerg forces to be able to make their way into the main base. And that Reaper does get the last shot off on the Zergling before it is able to run up the ramp, but excuse me, but I do believe it saw the factory in the barracks. So Polt has been revealed. But nothing really too, you know, it's like in the beginning stages of StarCraft 2, you know what your opponent is doing to some degree, unless they're just going completely crazy. And in this situation, I think he knows what's up. And it's interesting that Jaedong's vision actually shows two barracks there. You should see the factory, but there it is. The Overlord will come in and clear up that fog of war. And we do, you know, we do have a barracks, a factory, and another star. Actually, that's a starport coming up next to the CC. Now, Jaedong has not seen the starport yet, and this is where things start to get a little interesting. You know, this is where players can diverge their builds a little bit, decide what they want to go for. And in this situation, we do have a starport. Now, I don't see an armory, so it isn't going to be Hellbat drops, but it is going to be a quick Viking. And, you know, Terran players do this from time to time. They get the early Viking out because it helps them get rid of Overlords. And you can see that rally point already set to the Overlord down here in the corner. And any time a Zerg player loses all their scouting Overlords, it is really annoying because it puts the Zerg in the darkness. And really, you don't get any early advanced scouting. So it's a nice strategy here. To get a Viking out, and that's exactly what Polt is going to do. Meanwhile, these four Zerglings actually running behind the wall, able to make it through and do a quick loop-de-loop behind the mineral line before they are, of course, almost escape, but they are taken out. And now we do have a pack of Hellions coming with Reapers. This is a decent-sized army coming out for CM Storm Polt. And we'll see if Jaedong is prepared for this or not. He does have Evo Chambers coming up, a pseudo Zerg wall, but his third expansion is going to be exposed here. And unfortunately, or fortunately I should say for Jaedong, the hatchery is not that vulnerable to fire, and there aren't any drones there, but there are a lot of drones here, and oh my god, jackpot! Polt comes in here and he can destroy a lot of drones if he can get into the drone line. It looks like he's just gonna run past the natural and into the main base, but there is a lot of speedlings here and they will get the surround on all of those units, and great job by Jaedong to surround all of those Hellions and Reapers. I thought he was gonna be in a lot of trouble there, and you'll note that he evacuated all of his drones from the natural over to the third, and he actually positioned some of his units here, his queens and whatnot, to prevent the Hellions from chasing them down, and that was just a great defense. Usually when you see, you know, 8 or so Hellions running in and a couple of Reapers, you think, oh, that's it. The Zerg is going to be in a lot of trouble, but no, not this time around, and Jaedong did a great job defending. Now he'll have to defend once again, as there are a couple of Widow Mines coming in here for Polt, and he is going to drop them into the mineral line, but a Spore Crawler is going to be coming up pretty soon here. Meanwhile, that Widow Mine does do a little bit of damage. Another mine coming over here at the natural expansion, but Jaedong immediately throws down a Spore Crawler and brings a few Zerglings around in order to get rid of the Sentinel Missile. And you'll note here, basically, the strategy to dealing with these mines now is just get a Spore Crawler up. The Spore comes up faster than it takes for the Widow Mine's Sentinel Missile to payload to recharge. So once you get the Spore up, you can bring it, you can uproot it and bring it closer, although he needs to do it now. Uh-oh, I think he's going to lose some units here, but wisely brings a drone over behind the Widow Mine and activates it. So very, very smart maneuver right there, and it looks like the mine over here at the natural also gets taken out. So great job by Jaedong. Very, you know, obviously he's practiced his strategies here in Heart of the Swarm, and he knows how to counter these types of units and abilities. And it looks like, speaking of countering, there's a bit of a counterattack on the ground from Polt, with assistance from the medevac, able to snipe off a queen, and actually it drops off his Marauders and Marines once again, but I don't know if that was a good idea because there are a lot of units down there. Zergling's just waiting for that army to get dropped off, and now it looks like Polt is going to drop it off behind this cliff face where he'll be able to regenerate the Marauder's health. And he also brings his Viking around for air assistance as well. In the meantime, on the macro front, we do have Polt going for another expansion as he brings his third command center around to land down at this expansion area. He's also going to wall up this area with supply depots, really playing a safe game here as he brings in his Marauders once again for a tactical strike. Going to try to take out more drones and whatnot. Note that 10 SCVs, 10 drones have gone down this game already, but in the reality of things, in the long scope of Zerg versus Terran, you know, losing 10 workers isn't that bad at all. But I'm also looking at the supplies here, and Jaedong really isn't, you know, he's not at the spot where you'd want a Zerg player to be. He's only at 109 supply compared to Polt's 124, and he just lost his hatchery, was not paying attention to the position of those Marauders, and that was painful. Now, this is starting to look increasingly dangerous for Jaedong. His supply is not good, but he did just produce a lot of Mutalisks. In fact, he's got about 6 Mutalisks with 2 more on the way. Now, you'll note that Jaedong, you know, his signature play is Mutas, and we'll see if he'll be able to make something happen here with his Mutalisks. But I feel like he's undergone such a supply disadvantage that it is going to be very hard for Jaedong to come back into this game. But we'll see what happens. He does pick off that pesky Viking that was flying around the map for a very long time, and he is going to re-erect this expansion. But, you know, his supply really needs a boost right now, as he is down about 25 supply to a Terran player, and that's never a spot you want to be in, especially not against Polt. And it looks like he is going to be bringing in a large army of Marines backed up with Widow Mines here. Now, there are some Banelings on the ground, but the Banelings are unable to hit the Marines. And these Mutants do not have any ground support. Without ground support, Mutalists are almost entirely worthless against Marines and medevac support. And now, it looks like Jaedong is just going to have to pull back and let Polt take control of the middle of the map here. In the meantime, though, Jaedong does bring some Zerglings around. He is going to go for a counterattack right into this expansion, and a lot of SCVs are here. He hold positions, but their SCVs just run away, and he wasn't actually paying attention as he's too distracted with the battle that's going on right here in the middle of the map, bringing in more Banelings, but the Banelings unable to hit the Marines once again, and Polt says, oh, yummy, no Baneling damage at all. Now I can push in just a little bit closer to your expansion. Meanwhile, it looks like the Marines have cleaned up most of the SCVs that intruded into that third expansion down in the bottom left-hand corner, but Jaedong able to clear up the middle of the map here, and he is going to push once again with these mutants, but he has to be very, very careful. Those Marines are heavily upgraded. They are at 1-1 actually only, but their 2-2 is about to come on the way. Don't forget, Stim and Combat Shields is of course online as well, and a new group of Marines are coming in. And that is the danger you face as Zerg. Marines are just so easy to produce in mass. They're so cost effective, especially with medevac support, that it really puts a lot of pressure on a Zerg player to be able to handle that. And right now Jaedong is, you know, he's cooking in the pressure pot. He'll need to produce more units in order to defend against this. And really, he cannot get up to Hive Tech because of all the pressure he's facing right now. He's still on layer, but will he be able to defend against this or not? There are a lot of strategically placed Widow Mines on the ground as well, as you'll note, taking out forces as they run by. And more Zerglings are actually going to run into this expansion once again. Jaedong doing exactly what he needs to do, counterattacking, hoping that a good defense here will be a good offense. Or a good offense will be a good defense, I should say. And a lot of SCVs are going to go down along with the mules here. Very nice job from Jaedong. Able to sneak on by somehow into this area and forcing the retreat of some Marines. At the meantime, though, Polt is going to push in as well, but he's got to be careful. There are so many Zerglings and Banelings here, but more Marines coming through, and it's a continual tug-of-war between the Marines and the Zerg. And Jaedong here just hoping he can get his Banelings in position, and he will crash through that entire Marine army with Banelings connecting left and right. And the medevacs now are going to have to pull away, but a new wave of Marines coming in as well. And this is just a continual tug-of-war between two of Korea's finest Starcraft players. And who is going to come out ahead in this battle? It is 159 supply to 150. Jaedong has closed the gap. He's getting up to Hive Tech as well. And Jaedong, I think, is slowly but surely turning the tides of war here. I do believe he is swaying the battle in his favor. And really it just comes down to his ability to strike the Terran player at home, taking out SCVs, and then getting a great surround against the Terran as well in the middle of the map. And now Polt, I mean, he's still got this pressure front developing just outside of this expansion, but I would imagine Jaedong is going to have a lot of reinforcements coming in pretty soon here, and he'll be able to clean this up no problem. Not to mention, he does have an Overseer nearby in order to clear up these Widow Mines. Also going to be bringing in some Banelings trying to take out SCVs, but unfortunately for him, those Banelings did run into a group of Marines with high-powered Gauss rifles. They were able to take them down, and now it looks like the Marines continuing to retreat behind the minefield, and you'll note, this is the way of Zerg versus Terran now. It's all about mines and bio, and as you retreat, back in the days it was retreating Marines behind siege tanks. Now it's retreating Marines behind Widow Mines, as Widow Mines are thought to be much more cost effective than their siege tank counterparts against Zerg. So this is just a beautiful development in StarCraft 2 and Zerg versus Terran, and this is, you know, you couldn't ask for two better players to show the meta game of ZvT now, and this is just awesome to watch. Who is going to come out ahead? Polt hasn't given up yet. He has gotten a new expansion, and that is why Polt has suddenly jumped back up in terms of income. He's been able to get a refreshing source of minerals and gas, and that has powered a new wave of Marines to come through here. They are 3-2 upgraded, and Jaedong feeling the pressure. He needs these Banelings to come through right now. Will he be able to defend this expansion? Drones are starting to go down, and here comes the Banelings. Zerglings also coming in from the left-hand side, but of course reinforcing Marines are always there, ready and waiting. Polt with just incredible incredible macro, streaming out Marines from the barracks. He's got 1,000,000 reactor cores, and it looks like he's going to be able to press into this expansion, but Jaedong brings the Mutas in. He has to sacrifice Mutas in order to keep this expansion alive. Jaedong knows if this hatchery goes down, it is the end of the game for him. If he loses his hatchery, he will not be able to stand toe-to-toe with Polt. In fact, at this moment in time, it is 4 bases against 4 bases, and Jaedong knows he needs to actually work on getting a 5th base, but he just can't afford to do it, and it looks like Polt, just through brute force, is going to be able to punch his way through into this expansion, and this hatchery is going to go down, no doubts about that. Great game here between Jaedong and Polt, but Polt showing that he's got the upper hand here in game 1. This is going to be a series of games that I'll be casting, ladies and gentlemen, but what a great start. First game going to CM Storm Polt. Hope you guys enjoyed, and without further ado, let's go right into game 2. I'll see you guys there, and this is HD signing out.